The Mexican trio.
Mexican trio. Now that sounds racist.
I'm telling you, man.
Hey, fam. Welcome back to I'm Telling You.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, I'm Philly D.
Mr. Gemini.
Yeah, and for those who have never tuned in before, this is a 30-plus year friendship between me and this guy right here, talking about anything, everything, with anyone and everyone, with dad jokes, movie quotes. Yeah, we usually have a fact checker, but Miss JD is sans this evening. She's not in the house, but... Yeah, and and sometimes we get some amazing guests in the house, which tonight is no different. My friend, if you could, please tell the people who you are.
Hello, people out there. My name is Corey Devon, a.k.a. Corey Speaking. You can find me at coreyspeaking.com, Corey Speaking on Facebook, Corey Speaking as well on Instagram. I'm a growth coach. I help people move from where they are to where they want to be as far as growth, self-development, things of that nature. I try to create an environment for you to grow at your own pace and try to feed you things in here to help you grow and understand. So that's what I do. Check me out, Facebook, Instagram, Corey Speaking.
Dude, I love how not only do you use the term growth coach, because, you know, we were saying that earlier in the green room and stuff, but the vocabulary that you're using around that, you're accentuating the literal idea of growing properly, like cultivating good food, you know, whether it's fruit or, you know, plant, or because, I mean, you're talking about creating the right environment and giving you the right stuff so that you can grow. Like you're putting it, dude, I'm mad appreciate the analogies and the way, like, between your words and the way you present yourself and like the ideas and how you put it out there, man. It's nice to see somebody who has very much the same idea as me, but to hear it from a completely different perspective. Yeah. Dude, this is the part of conversations that I really love, because you really do grow from that. Yeah. So that's why I love the fact that you're all about like growth and dude, that's bomb, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I just try to take it from the perspective that everybody is an individual, and it's not about what I know, it's about where you are, right? So I can't all of a sudden just tell you I know this and you should do this and you should do that. I have to create an environment so you can grow, so that you can, you know, be in an environment that helps you see things for yourself. You know,
well, yeah, because you made the analogy of, you know, a banana needs this to grow, an apple needs this to grow, and it's like, you know, they need very similar things, but they need those very specific things.
Exactly.
Yeah, I thought that was really good. That's why I said between your language and the actual like word pictures that you're painting with your ideas, it's just like, dude, your analogies are dope too, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate you, dude. It's good.
It's all about the word pictures.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you kind of have to, because I mean, some of our fans only get to hear us because we do a radio station, DIM, Directions in Music. We've been on there for over 2 years now.
I know.
Yeah, I as a radio DJ, man, I'm like 8 months now. So I've been pumping out Music Evolution for 8 months now. Yeah,
wow.
Dude, but that's the thing is, we get plenty of people that just straight up listen to us on the radio, which we appreciate all of our fans, whether we don't care how you interact with us. We love it. You guys are awesome. We appreciate you. But it's so we kind of, you know, because originally all we did was only audio. So we really had to get decent at painting the word picture. So while we, you know, it's kind of a joke for us, it's the truth because we had to. But in the same thing, it's like putting in that work. You can describe things in so many different fashions. Yeah. You know, which I think goes back to the idea of being able to have so many kinds of crazy conversations with so many crazy different kind of people. And we can still be saying the same thing, but with completely different language. It cracks me up.
It's like some people are better at learning visually. Some people are better at learning audio, and some people are better at feeling with their hands, right? So we can have the same information, but the way we deliver it, some people will get it and some people won't. Yeah. You know, so it's very important. Like we were talking about food earlier, the process, right? Yeah. It's about the process, how you actually, you know, produce it in the beginning. So,
well, because, and I mean, What?
I'm teasing you.
Bro, when I had, like I was telling you, I used to do automotive stuff, and I mean, for a while I had my own modification shop where, I mean, we were doing like paint jobs, like do custom interiors, like it didn't matter, like you wanted to build a new suspension, like, you know, hybrid 2 cars, like it doesn't, you came to me and it was like, bro, I'm gonna build this for you.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was one of those things where it's like, it's having that freedom or expression. You know, the ideas are always different, you know, but when you get to the point, like, so having all that experience with working on the cars and stuff and doing like the painting things is, I was always told you have to have certain kinds of equipment. You know, we went back to that story like how we were talking earlier with like food and things. It's like, do different tools. Dude, a true professional doesn't blame the equipment. So, you know, you're telling me it's going to take this, that, and the other. It's like, well, all I have to do is create that.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily have to have the tool. I just need the outcome of it.
That's right.
You know, so I mean, when you do paint, like when you're painting a car or your walls or what, like when you're painting stuff, all of that prep beforehand, all the things, the small stuff that people might skip over, all of the things in the beginning of that process, like all of that stuff is what makes the end product so seamless and so perfect. You have to do the right processes. Like you have to have the right order. You know, like I said, is that you can take the same ingredients and mix up how you put them together. You're going to get a completely different, you know, outcome, you know, meal wise.
Definitely.
It's the same thing. So, I mean, that's why I believe it's very much your belief system, and it's whatever you believe in, you know, but it's whatever makes you the most positive about yourself. You know, those are the pre-prep layers. Like that's all the beginning stuff. Like that has to be your process and yours alone.
Definitely.
So there's going to be so many of them that are completely different, even though they all use the same different stuff, you know, like.
Exactly. And that's the whole idea of it, because everybody has a different, we were talking about frequencies earlier, right? So
It's all about frequency.
So we all all can do the same thing, like the podcast, right? But then, you know, the frequency you putting out, you kind of touch different people, because everybody's doing the same thing, but the process and the way we're doing it is different.
Right.
So that actually reaches out to specific audiences and things of that nature. So a lot of times people get discouraged because they see a lot of people doing the same thing, but you have your own energy. You have your own process. Like you just have to be you. And there's always going to be somebody that's going to gravitate to that. So people really need to stop trying to be like other people and just do it the way they do it. Right?
Well, and you know what? And I myself believe, but also get a lot of feedback from others that in the long run, if whatever it is you're trying to do is really the thing that you want to be doing in the long run and even further, well, then you're going to take your time, and it's going to take a while to get there. Like it's going to take effort and hard work, and I'm okay with having all that extra time on it. Like that doesn't matter to me, because, you know, at that point it's like, cool, let's do it. So yeah, you can't get down on yourself. You just got to keep moving, because it's like, bro, it's not about tomorrow or the next month or a year from now. It's 10, 15, 20, 30. Yeah. Like, dude, you got to be in it for the long haul. So when you are, you're going to have your ups and downs. There's nothing to be discouraged about. I mean, like we had our first person, like, put something crappy underneath, like in our comments on YouTube or something, and we're like, yo, we got us a hater, because it's like because you'll get plenty of people that are like, oh, you're awesome, good, oh, yeah.
What did I say?
Was that?
Damn, bro, just one.
I know, right? Hey, you got to start somewhere. But since then we've had others. But to me, when you're doing something right, you're going to get people that are telling you that you're doing it right, and then you're also going to get people that are telling you that you're doing it wrong. Because if you're just putting stuff out there, ain't no one really going to say shit about it, period. You know, you might get some positive from your family and friends, but that shit don't really count. Like, come on.
Yeah.
But if you're not getting any kind of negative feedback, you're not touching anybody. Because those people that are, you know, negative, you hit them with something. Somehow or another.
They took the time to write us. So.
And that's the thing, because there's one thing to be trolling, you know, that's like you kind of like get into it and you want to do it, but it's another thing just to be like popping and putting some stuff here and there. It's like, dude, I obviously touched a nerve. Come on, what's up with that?
That was my Howard Stern reference.
Oh yeah, do you tell him?
Yeah, like I don't know when the poll was taken and how many people it was, but they figured out that the average person that considers themselves a Howard Stern listener listens approximately 1 hour a day. And the average hater listens closer to 2.
Wow. That's amazing.
So you hate me, but you keep listening. So
It kind of makes you wonder.
and you
What are
took
they
the time
listening
to
for?
write me.
Yeah.
You know, like, thank you.
They need
And
to
that's what
do-
we said too. We're like, thank you. Thanks for writing in.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, they definitely need to do some type of psychoanalysis on people like that, because apparently they're listening for something, and you're hitting some type of chord. But what is it that makes them continue to listen? That's the weird part. Like, why do you continue to listen? There's something you must be really helping them in some way. I don't understand it.
Well, so there's a couple of components. One, yeah, there's totally that where they're what's the term I'm looking for? They live vicariously through you. So they themselves, while they're telling you, oh, that's horrible or that's bad, you shouldn't be doing it, they themselves kind of either believe it or feel it. They themselves have been programmed to think this, and that's their response. So the reason why they're reaching out or throwing that energy is because it's what's called, psychology calls projecting. They're taking their own internalized bullshit and just throwing it out on you. So it's not so much like what they say, but how they say it. Even when you type it, like there's still some sort of a context, you know, or an idea behind it. But
No, there was a tone.
oh, there was definitely a tone from this guy. But yeah, but also on top, like you were kind of saying, where you yourself, they might be listening to it, and while they're complaining, because again, that's their
It was all
programming.
caps, man. It was all caps.
but they might be learning something, whether they realize it or not. Might be on a subconscious level. They've been kind of trying to do something with their life, and it's like they're taking from someone else's experiences and learning themselves. So it's very possible that they're doing one of the either, most likely. But that's enough to compel them to do that. But honestly, that's very human nature. I did a lot of my psychology was abnormal behavioral developmental.
Yeah.
So it's what the brain does, how it does it, and how it does it from the time it's like a fetus to fully formed and dead, but with the outliers, the crazier, weirder stuff. So that everything that doesn't fit that narrative to a relative, match, everything else is just like, that's normal.
So that's how you know how to deal with me, is it?
Dude, that's how I know how to deal with me, bro. No, for real.
Word.
Dude, no, I got into psychology because it interested me, because I like dissecting things. I'm very inquisitive, you know what I mean? That's why I keep saying it. Like, I'm just a giant child that goes, well, and then what? And then what? So, I got into psychology because human nature like intrigues me, because it's just something to understand.
Yeah.
But as I did it more and more, all of a sudden I kind of just like started looking at myself, and I was like, oh shit, that explains some stuff. So whether I was expecting to or not, I slowly started working my shit out, just trying to be a better person and truly educate myself. And it's just like, I'm over here fixing myself and shit. I'm like, fuck yeah, look at me. And I'm still doing it, but
Yeah, psychology is very interesting, especially when you try to mesh it together with like spirituality, right? Because
Philosophy and
do anything really.
Because when you think about it, if you get damage to the frontal lobe or whatever of your brain, it can change your personality. So now
we were talking about that shit earlier. Yeah, I think that was off mic, but yeah,
that's what I was thinking about. So I'm like, okay, so if you have a soul that you expressing through the mind, and then you get damage to the mind, why can not the soul,
express
if you
itself.
believe in it being separate, why can't it express itself anymore? And why is there a different expression? Who is expressing that? So that's a little bit more deeper.
Yeah, bro, we talked this shit all. Yeah, bring it on. Keep going. Yeah, what else? For real.
It's you can function quite normally with. I think they've done this in some kind of lab experiment, but not necessarily human.
There's papers on this, is what you're saying.
But like the cerebral cortex retains in your the cerebellum, but not what you would think of as the main part of the upper brain, that you can function with just those, basically like your lizard brain, which I think is the guy you were talking about. He basically had a lobotomy.
Yeah, took a spike to the face.
And took a chunk out of his frontal lobe.
Hey, Bob, you got something right there. Huh?
So
Dude,
although he could learn how to function and actually didn't even have to learn anything. Like he was perfectly able to function his normal responsibilities on paper.
Well, so I think
but his interactions with other people was disjointed at best.
Well, yeah, because I feel like what you're expressing in that idea about the lizard brain, as you said, is that part of those components and parts of that of your brain is the ones that are at the root core of your body just functioning. Like it's taking care of like your heart and so it's like it's running on, you fell safe where it's just like it's just enough to keep. I can't give her any more captain. It's just like that's all I got. That's all we're getting here.
But having all this in the back and then just damage to the frontal lobe, you can still, I mean, with obvious.
Well, just because one guy did it.
What the hell is saying?
Well, Bill did it. Well, good for Bill. Fuck Bill. I don't give a shit. Well, yeah, but so I mean,
we're
going to your
corpus callosum. I mean, it can be done.
Well, but going to Corey's point about how it's like, if they are separate, then how come? To me, that speaks more to the idea of what we call simulation theory, or that we're in a construct. So it's not necessarily like Grand Theft Auto or The Sims or The Matrix per se.
It's our construct.
Well, but so that's the thing is the way we're to understand things is all stuff is what's called a fractal of light. So all of these things are, like molecules in the atom, like all this stuff is just getting bounced around. It's just the fact that like holographically, like we would make an image look real and right in front of us, take these different points of beams and lights and and it's just like bling, and now it looks real. So to me, it kind of really supports the idea that we are in what we would consider some form of a matrix or a construct, and not like air quotes the Matrix where it's like we're Neo and shit, but literally just the term of a matrix or a construct. Because to me, it helps understand the consistency behind everything in this world, man. You get to a point where there's too many damn coincidences. That shit's gotta mean something.
There's no such thing as coincidence.
But there's so much exacting, precise things that we can really break down into just basic math. Like we can just understand it as a simple number. And it's just like, why do all of these numbers keep coming up everywhere?
Because some things are just naturally synchronous, like the power of 3, 6, and 9.
Well, and that's what I'm saying, because that's what this world would be basically like built on. Like that would be its frequency. It's what this world is constructed of. So if we're fractals of light, it's like, all right, so we kind of are in a game, which kind of also explains why your thoughts can then be projected into actual reality. And like, hey, Carl, and it's just like, bring, you're like, holy shit, Carl, what's up? So the fact that you had that thought, or you put that energy, being a part of that ether, or that, connection. So, I mean, if we are in this kind of a construct, well, then if our suit, our, avatar or whatever, if it in this construct as us projecting in as a soul from out in the ether, then if the body has a malfunction, the soul's not really going to be able to push past that. You're just like, fuck, he's all left today. I got nothing. I need a repair on this.
I never thought about it that way.
Well, I mean, because as you're bringing it up in the fashion that you were, it's just like, well, that's why I think, to me, it just lends its hand to more of this is a simulation or a construct. So this really is just a meat suit. I mean, it's a real meat suit.
Yeah.
But my soul is, well, so this to me kind of helps to separate the idea of like space and time. Because one of my favorite things, you said something earlier, I forget exactly what, but it touched on the idea of like being multidimensional. The idea of having perception in who we are and what we do, where you're just like the soul and separation of the body. You're like, who is that? Freaking KRS-One. I love KRS-One. He explained the idea of the fifth dimension on a level that I was just like, holy shit, that makes sense. So he's doing a speaking event, and he tells the audience, he's like, all right, everybody quiet. Nobody says nothing. He's like, we're going to be quiet. And he's like, but hold on. We're going to say something to ourselves, but we're not going to say it out loud. We're all going to say it to ourselves and in our heads, right?
Yeah.
He's like, cool. So everything, he gets the room quiet, and he's like, all right, cool. And he makes a statement. He's like, let's all say this to ourselves. So the whole room in their heads says the statement. And I forget exactly what it is, but it's not important. The simple fact is the whole room, everybody's dead quiet because they're all saying it in their heads. And he goes, okay, 1, You didn't say anything. Where did that voice come from? Here's something better. How did you hear it if you didn't say it? And that's how our ears work. You still heard a voice that may or may not be yours. He's like, where did it come from? He's like, that's you in the fifth dimension. So it's being able to have that voice and hear it, which is inside of our head.
That's deep, man.
But it's not heard with our ears. It's not said with our mouth. Where did it come from? The fifth dimension. So that helps to also show that separation of like, this is a meat suit. My soul is a literal entity or being or angel or, whatever you want to quantify it as, outside in that fifth dimension, sixth dimension, those exterior realms that vibrate on different frequencies.
Yeah, that blew my mind.
Dude, first time I heard, I was like, KRS, dude, I love the preacher, man. Dude, KRS-One has been, I've loved that dude since like way back in the day. Like but that's what he does, man. I mean, that's why he's the preacher, the teacher, but yeah, when he explained it in that fashion, I was just like, shit, yeah, who is that guy? How come I can't? I was like, yo, it clicked for me because I could see like in my mind, like spatially, I could be like, oh, if I'm here. And that's why it's like, as I was saying earlier with you, the idea, it's just like, this is a meat suit. I'm in here like Avatar style and I'm just playing a video game as a spiritual being outside of this. It doesn't mean that what we're doing here isn't real. It just, but there's other realms to this understanding. And that's why I'm like, yo, fifth dimension shit is like, oh,
does the brain create the mind or does the mind create the brain?
We've had this conversation because it's like chicken or egg. Well, so did the construct exist and I came into it, or is it because we wanted the construct that we now have it? So it's like, who actually created it? Was it created for us or by us?
The highest power is consciousness
that we're aware of.
That's the highest power.
Yeah.
They're saying there's like 11 dimensions or some shit now.
It's all consciousness.
I don't know how you reach them though, but
I'm trying to find out.
Yeah.
I want to have some dope conversations. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they always say you reach them when you're on a higher frequency. So,
well, he's shouting at you from every angle. It's just a matter of whether you can hear it, I guess.
That's true.
Well, dude, just like we were saying earlier, man, you put it out, 10,000 people see it, 10 people actually do it.
Yeah.
It's like a numbers game at that point, man. Like handing out flyers on the fucking sidewalk.
That's true. That's true. But I think just the idea of things create things.
Yeah, keep it, dude, bro. Yeah, go. Yeah, I want to hear you, dude. You for real. You went off on the whole idea of thought, man. I want to hear some more of your thought shit.
Oh yeah, of course. Because again, like I said earlier, the only power we have is the power to think. Without that power, we wouldn't move, right? The subconscious kind of stores the reality of, as far as controlling the body, making sure the blood keeps pumping. And
the fact that you don't have to think about breathing and somehow you still do it.
So everything, as we learn it, it goes into the subconscious, which is why when you trying to dial a number, you can dial it, but if you think about the number,
you're like, oh, it's not
same
3
thing with
sevens.
When somebody asks you about the number and you're like, I don't know, give me a phone. I don't know it, but my hand does.
Exactly. So that's the subconscious. As we learn stuff, it just becomes knowledge to us. We no longer have to think about it, and then we start to learn more and more things. But not just learning it, but actually creating things once you learn. Like once you want a job or something, or you want to go to school, everything starts with a thought, right? So that thought starts to manifest everything you do afterwards. So there's nothing that you do, even this conversation, that we do without thinking. Pouring that beer, you don't do without thinking. So that's basically the genesis of everything is thought,
Dude, and you know what? Like, all right, dude, this is what cracks me up, man. So I've been golfing for about 4 years now. And the irony of it is my father had been trying to get me to go out and golf since I was like 9. But ever since I was 9, every time he took me out golfing, all he showed me was I get up at 4 a.m. on a Sunday to hang out with a bunch of old white dudes yelling at a little ball that won't go in a hole in the ground. I'm like, I'm getting up early for this shit.
Yeah.
On my Sunday, I was like, yo, so I never wanted to golf. I fought it for decades. 4 years ago, almost, I decided, all right, cool, pops. You know what? Let's do it. I'm gonna pick it up. We're gonna do this together. Like, we'll hang out. Like, it's a good experience for the two of us. Fucking changed my entire perspective on life.
Golfing.
It was a culminating moment. All of the stuff that I had thought, experienced, been a part of, had perceived or understood to that point brought me to a level of understanding and appreciation for what golf is on so many levels. Because golf is the same as anything. It's just a system.
Yeah.
And that's your belief system, you know, as I was saying earlier. And so to me, golf was the thing that finally clicked everything together. The idea of confidence, what thought is, you know, what being present in the moment is. Like, dude, all these life lessons converged into the point, and it's just like this.
Sounds more like meditation.
Dude, it was a epiphany where, yeah, I mean, so it's now at a place where me and golf, I call it my Zen, because it takes me to this place where it just, everything makes sense. The world slows down and it's just beautiful.
That's me on a motorcycle.
Right. Yeah. That used to be me on a bike. Yeah, for real. I get that.
So what aspect of it was it for you? Was it kind of just walking, or was it just the time to think while you're walking? Was it the environment? Like, what made you stop and be like, you know, have this epiphany?
All of it. It really was. That's why I said it was a culminating moment. It was where all the bad and the good that had happened to me, all of the thoughts, fears, you know, beliefs, ideas, anything about how all of this, it works, what it means. Like, dude, it was, I now understand what life is about.
So did it kind of connect you with your dad?
Oddly enough, we like never golf together. It's like all the time. I'm like, it pops. But here's the kicker. My dad's been playing for just over 40 years. I've been playing for less than 4, and I'm better than he is.
Wow.
But I actually, when one of the things is he had a coach, and he like got his coach to take me and my daughter. So it was like the 3 of us. So it was like a total like family experience, 3 generations. It was dope. But when we went to see the coach and stuff, it's like me and my kid took it and practiced and like played with it. My dad was in one ear, out the other. He didn't do so. He never applied anything that was brought to him. So it's like, yeah, no shit, you're not going to get better. You just keep doing the same shit, expecting different results. It's like, you
can only expect to get maybe a little less than what you put in out of something. Then you might as well give it your all.
Yeah.
Well, so the thing that I enjoy the most, because I spoke on, was the idea of confidence. With golf, to me, as I've come to understand with how my mind works and how everything seems to represent itself in this construct or this system or life that we live in, the idea of having that single thought of exactly what you want to do. Like, you look down the golf course or you're looking down the green. It's like, I want this stroke. I want ball flight like this. Like, you can literally see the entire picture before your eyes, which there's no actual movie screen in this mind, but I see that shit. Where does that projection come from? That, to me, again, KRS-One's like fifth dimension. So it was just this thing where all of a sudden now I'm out in peace and quiet, surrounded and grounded by nature, just admiring part of who I am. Because we, you know, from above, so below, like, we are of the heavens and the earth. Like, we are creatures that are created of this earth, but with this spiritual being. Like, we don't know where that comes from. Fifth dimension, we want to call it, or I'm calling it. But it's like, so having all of that, you have a single thought, and then the confidence, as my coach would say, of saying to your body, fifth dimension wise, whatever, it's like me, spirit, soul, body, make that happen. Your body just goes, you got it, and you do it. It's having the confidence that I had a pure enough thought that my body only heard and saw exactly what I wanted, and it did it for me. So golf is very much about peace, calm, collected, clear, focus, intent.
Right, but you got to put in the work.
Well, you do, but that's the thing, though, is it doesn't have to be.
Work is like 9/10 of it, though.
But it doesn't have to be golf. It could be anything. And that's what golf taught me even further, because it was like, it's not the fact that it is golf. It's the fact that golf is what it did for me.
Yeah.
So that was my thing. And that's why, I mean, so it's just, but it's very much about what it is, that it's like you have to have that intent, that focus, that drive. Like, that's all it is.
Yeah. I was thinking that maybe the golf made you realize other things, but it was actually focusing on the golf and believing having that concentration that said I can apply this to anything, and knowing that that's what did it for you.
Yeah, it was like the cheat codes. It's like playing Grand Theft Auto, and all of a sudden you're just like up, down, left, right. It's like I got all the guns and ammunition, and I have all the armor. I can just steal everything. It's like, dude, it's literally a cheat code, because it's how clear and focused can I be?
Yeah.
You know, what's the proper environment that I can build for myself so that my habits just become even further conditioned into me? This is what I do. I don't even think about picking up this beer. I just do it. I don't even think about swinging the golf club. I don't even think about making money. I don't even think about spending time with my family. I just have that single thought of just like, this would be lovely. Cool. It happens.
So you kind of apply that to other aspects of your life.
Do I apply it to everything?
Yeah, that's deep, because I was really going a whole different, way with it, but.
So what? That's what I mean. What in your mind? What did you get?
I was just thinking that you was having a different thought on the golf course about other things. Just the environment allowed you to think. About other things.
But it did. It definitely did, because I mean, I'm very much like I was saying earlier. If we are these spiritual beings that have a physical body, well, this body is of this earth. You can't tell me that it's not. It's made up of carbon and, the calcium, and it's just like everything else. It's of this earth.
Yes.
But it has this spiritual being, which is not of this earth. So it's like, while I have to appreciate and be aware of that I am this exterior, non-3 and 4D dimensional, like space and time doesn't mean shit to me other than this meat suit. I have to appreciate that, but I also have to appreciate I still got a meat suit. I got to take care of this guy over here. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I have to very much embrace that. So being out in the woods like that constantly, you can't help but just understand that, like, you're like, I'm a part of this bigger picture. Like, while it doesn't matter what I am or what I do, it totally does, because without me doing what I'm doing, all the other stuff around me wouldn't have been working, and vice versa. So I have to be appreciative of that flow.
Yeah.
So it's just as important that I'm here doing this as I'm not doing this. It's just, golf fucking blew my mind, bro. Which is hilarious.
Yeah, do you ever have like an epiphany like that?
Well,
he was just watching the show.
Oh, Corey, I appreciate you so much, bro. Yeah, I'm gonna say it right now, man. You're welcome back here anytime, brother.
My big perspective changes in life basically came from trauma. So
who didn't? Come on. Nobody likes a bragger, bro.
Trauma, like brain damage type trauma.
No, for real. That's not a joke.
And even from a young age, but I mean, I joke around that it's a wonder I can even walk and chew gum anymore.
He can't.
So, I didn't say well.
Yeah, I was asking because I feel like for everybody it's different. So I was trying to get your perspective.
Well, I was pointing at him in mid thought that he was having, because I was thinking, it seems to me that maybe there's an aspect of how you approached golf, because you said it could be anything, but
Well, yeah. Well, that's what I always say. It doesn't matter what your belief system is, as long as you believe in it.
That was kind of an ego killing device for you.
Oh, dude.
Because it doesn't do you any good. It does you no good.
It is instant reaction. Yeah, no, Scarface the rapper. I love this. He was doing a thing with Callaway where they were fitting him with a set of clubs, and they turned into like a little mini episode and whatever else. And one of the guys asked him, he's like, what's your thing with golf? Like, what made you pick it up, or, what do you love about it? He's like, bro, I'll tell you what. He's like, I can lie to you. He's like, I can cheat you. Shit, I can steal from you. You ain't lying to the golf course.
That's
you
true.
ain't cheating the golf course.
Yeah.
You ain't stealing from the golf. And I was just like, oh, bro. But
Everything's laid bare.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was one of those things of that time period where all of a sudden that epiphany came to me, because, hearing, but that's why I said all my life experiences, the good and the bad.
It could be football.
It could be movie watching.
Right.
It could be TikToking.
Whatever it is,
it could be picking up sticks in your yard. That's why this is why I love Japanese culture, man. You could be like, I want to be a professional, radio controlled car controller got like I want to do like drifting or racing, or it's like I just want to drive like RC cars all day.
Yeah.
Like I just want remote control. Just like, dude, if you go out and you literally live like that, if you crush your dreams, all love and respect. Like Japanese culture is like, yo, you either do it or you don't. We don't give a shit what it is. You better.
Are you Mr. Miyagi and me right now?
A little bit.
That's true though, because you really have to put the time and energy into it, and the only time you do that is when you actually really love what you do. You know, but
and everything else will follow.
Yeah,
yeah.
But sometimes everyday life gets in the way, paying bills, stuff like that. You know, you work somewhere because you have to, not because you want to, and you don't have time to really pursue your passions and stuff like that. So they always say your passion is something that you can do all the time without somebody telling you. Like me, I talk all the time.
No, I didn't get that at all.
I'm always like, talking to my patients. I'm always talking to everybody I know, and I'm always talking about growth. And I was like, this must be my passion, because people want me to stop talking about it. And it's like I bring it up all the time. So it has to be something that you just do all the time around your friends, whatever, and that's going to be your passion, and you have to develop that,
But I mean, and that's what I think speaks to, because again, I don't care what your belief system is. I don't care what your system is. Like, it doesn't matter how you define it. They're for every single individual. I feel very much that in this world, in this human experience that we're having, there's that one thing that makes all of this shit make sense to you. Mm-hmm. And, people, it's like, how can you deal with the pain? Or like, there's, why does good and bad happen? It's like all these things, and they want to sit there and question. It's like, because this is a game. At the end of the day, it's real as shit. Like, dude, this still exists. There's still feelings and emotions, and there's pain and suffering, but it's a game, which means that it's here to be enjoyed and learned from. Mm-hmm. To me, a good game has some form of like system or logic behind it. There's rules, there's structure. It might have a good amount of chaos or chance in there. However, there's got to be system or structure. I mean, that's the one thing that this world really tells me. That's why I say it goes back to the idea of balance. It's like you have to accept it, but also appreciate it. But at the same time, you got to witness for everybody else too, man. I'd say, dude, that's why golf really dropped my ego. Mm-hmm. And being able to have that and transcend it into other, interactions with people, because it goes beyond me not having that ego. It's like, it goes to the idea of like, I know what it would be for others to not have ego, because dude, being as humble as possible, man, realizing that while I don't matter, but I'm here for a purpose, mm-hmm. is a very ironic statement, which seems to be what this world is built on.
Yeah. And you got to kind of figure out what that purpose is, but it's always going to be what you enjoy. Like, I feel like we all have our own superpower.
Dude, yes. Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
And, the things that you like, always, when I was talking to you,
sometimes
you
not always good, but
hey, but it's your superpower.
Yeah, it's always, I think it's always good. It's just how you apply it. Like, I was talking about emotions. Anger can really push you to excel. Sadness can really help you learn some things, right? Being joyous just helps you enjoy the moment, but every emotion is valuable. And just like you can't appreciate a sunny day if it never rains, you can't appreciate being happy if you're never sad, right? So that balance allows you to grow from whatever emotion that is. So we have to stop thinking that when we're angry, we have to act out angrily.
Right.
Well,
no, that's an important thing that you're touching on, though, because it's important to understand the emotion for what it is, because it has its important moment.
That's right.
In that moment, as long as you don't act out in a way that harms other people or whatever, or even yourself.
Yeah.
Like, to recognize it and understand it for what that's the tough part.
Yeah.
To be able to separate yourself. And that's, I think, why I kind of said and lent some credence to the game of golf for you as an individual, did something like that, because it takes a loosening of that ego connection to start to get in the realm of thinking that you can even understand the concepts of, this thing, whatever it is that happens to me in this moment, I don't necessarily have to categorize as good or bad.
Yeah.
And maybe if I do that, I'm missing out on what it's here to teach me.
Yeah, exactly. And you can categorize it as good or bad, because something bad could happen to you, right? But you can create something great from it. You don't have to create more sadness.
It's never all bad, in my experience anyway.
Well, but it's like you were saying, balance, man. You have to have the bad for the good.
That's
so,
right.
But just because I have to have the bad doesn't mean that I have to only see the bad.
Yeah.
It just means that it's there. I can choose to look at it or not.
Well,
I
I mean,
can
like-
choose to perceive it or not. I can be aware of it and still ignore it.
Well, for example, something bad could happen to you,
You got to air quotes
but
for
it
the
might
people at home.
but it might push you in a direction in your life that your higher self would want you to go. And if you had the foresight and understanding of oneself at that moment when it happened, then you kind of would be better off at, so I guess what I'm getting at is more people need an outlet, not that it's always golf, but that to have that connection with whatever it is. For some people, it's just God.
well, so
However they choose to believe. And I'm not saying, and that throws a wrench in my works, because when I think of the word God, as simple as that is, my mind goes in a million different directions, which I don't think everybody's.
well, that's why I always say your belief system, whatever you can call it, whatever you want.
it is. I mean, like I said, it could be tiddlywinks, it could be ping pong, it could be billiards, it could be playing soccer, football, whatever you want to call it.
But that's also the greater point of why we do our show is, one, we're trying to stimulate these kinds of conversations, but two, we've already touched ourselves in this fashion. It's like, yeah, I don't know. I think I've touched your children too. Oh my God. But we've already changed each other's lives by doing this, because what we're trying to do is to promote that idea of be bigger than that, think larger, crush that ego, destroy that, understand that you're a part of it. You couldn't matter, but you do matter. And it's like, we're all here to kind of do the same thing.
Well, I think it's important to do that.
But how you do it is up to you. So we're just trying to stimulate you questioning the fact of just like, well, shit, what is it? What is this to me? Well, cool. Go have that conversation and then come back and tell us what you thought.
Yeah.
Because that'll be a dope convo, man.
Yeah. That's the best thing you could do, is just like have silence to yourself and talk to yourself. Like you said, ask yourself those questions.
Do you think? No. Do you think maybe that's a problem? And I can't really speak for myself, but I'm like, with a lot of the world's inability to deal with adversity, is maybe they don't take that moment to themselves. I mean, because you should take some amount of time, whether it's 15, 20 minutes or an hour a day, completely to yourself to defrag. I mean, that's the thing, right?
Definitely.
I mean,
Did I use that correctly? We use whatever language we want here. We will make up words.
To process and review whatever ups and downs, hardships, or whatever you suffered throughout the day, the week, whatever it was.
Yeah, definitely, because I that's kind of what really started me on this whole growth thing. I lived in New York for most of my life.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that accent you got does not sound like Bethlehem or East Stroudsburg, none of that.
Yeah, but when I first came here, people couldn't understand me, so I actually changed.
I get you.
I actually changed the way I talk. So the way I talk today is totally different.
I had to adapt my vernacular.
Dude, bro, no, I grew up in the freaking Mexican barrio in California. I came here, people were just like, what? Dude, my language was weird, my accent. So, I get that. But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah,
so coming out of New York.
So I moved to this house. I bought a house when I came out here, and it was kind of like on a mountain, and it really wasn't next to anything else.
That's awesome.
But in New
I
York,
was like, oh my God, that sounds amazing.
Gargamel's house? Was that?
but when I was in New York, anytime I would like get upset or I would get bored or whatever, I would go outside. You go outside, there's always something happening. There's always somebody out there.
Yeah.
There's a distraction. But when I moved here, I didn't have any distractions. I was in the house. I couldn't just go outside, and it forced me to deal with the things that I was trying to avoid all the time.
Yes.
A lot of people use drugs. Some people, they go out all the time, party or.
So you found out you had nowhere to run.
Yeah, I had nowhere to run. And when I was forced to deal with my emotions, that's when I felt something I've never felt before in my life, because up to that point, I've never done it. Right?
So this would be like epiphany.
Yeah, and there's no way to explain it. But sometimes you can't know you want something if you don't know it exists.
Dude, didn't I say that earlier? It's like, hey, you got to put out there because sometimes people just don't know it's out there.
Yeah.
How do you expect to know it, to get what you want when you don't even know what that is?
Exactly. And I had this like peace come over me. And just a feeling I've never had before. I can't even explain it.
Unity?
Yo, bro, I know what you're talking about. I know this feeling. You're just like, you literally just, it like everything pauses and stops and you just take in that moment for what it is. You're just like,
well, you know, if you
I get it now.
The word
oh my
tone,
God. And it's so easy.
The word atone is actually at 1.
Like 1 p.m. or a.m.?
Is Wendy's still open?
Shoot, depends on where you live.
But yeah, that back to what you were saying about you need to take that time alone. You definitely need to do that because the answer begins and ends with you. And if you don't talk to yourself, you can't get the answer, right? So you have to take that time because when you do, it's almost like withdrawing. If you go out all the time and you avoid things all the time, when you actually stay by yourself and you try to figure it out, you'll go through something that you haven't been through before, right? And in that point, you will start to think about everything you would want to be happy. I mean, and not things. Like I started to think, if I lived in a cave by myself.
Ideas more than possessions.
Yeah. I was like, if I live in a cave by myself, what can I put in that cave with me where I don't have to leave the cave?
Oh, bro.
You know?
That's a good dad.
Dude,
yeah, that's a good quantifier.
He gets me. Well, did we just become friends? No, like for real, bro.
That shit
Yeah.
we used to eat back in the day?
Pussy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so in that
I want to
moment.
leave that cave.
This man's over here talking about epiphany. Jesus. Mad disrespectful. This is what happens when he starts drinking his own beers.
It's not about me.
And so in that moment, like everything changed for me. And I started to want to get kind of to know myself. And when you get to know yourself, you get to know other people. Because we always try to think, why did they do this? Why did this person cheat?
I know it.
Why did this person do that? And we get so caught up in trying to figure out why they did what they did, we don't know what part we played. Because you can't be in a good relationship if you're not in it. You can't be in a bad relationship if you're not in it. So what part do you play? Even if everything the person doing is bad and you're not doing nothing, you're still facilitating it. You're still playing a part.
If you're not a part of the solution, you're a part of the problem.
Well, exactly.
So would you, I mean, because a lot of what you're talking about is just, creating a certain mindset for somebody. Like really just like we were saying earlier about frequency.
Mm-hmm. Well, no,
because
helping them design their mindset.
Right.
I think is what he's saying is more not just, not giving it to them and he's like helping them to.
It seems to be that whatever it is that comes your way in life is kind of what you're asking for in a way. But if you don't know how to ask properly, then you get what you get, Mm-hmm. But it's like, if you're really focused on, because I heard a lot of that recently, and I've been seeing a lot of that recently, that the law of attraction stuff has been coming around again. Mm-hmm. And the whole thing about, staying on a frequency and focusing on a frequency that is uplifting, that is higher in the range, is just naturally going to have a tendency like Velcro to attach other things to it that are of that same frequency, that you're kind of come together in a bottleneck at that frequency. Yeah. So I don't know, thoughts,
but
I thought you were going somewhere with that.
I forgot what I was about to say, but anyway,
but no, so going back to like you were talking about having those deeper conversations with yourself where you have to ask questions. So this is why when I started getting into psychology, when I went into college, like in my 30s and shit, and I started taking these classes, it forced me to have questions in general. Cause it's like, I don't understand this, for other people, but then all of a sudden it's just like, I have to use myself as reference.
Yeah.
Which means now I'm starting to ask myself questions. So I like inadvertently started applying that knowledge onto myself. That's where I was just all of a sudden, I was just like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I figured some shit out. What? Mm-hmm. But when I started doing that, it was almost like this curtain came off, and I was able to see things with a grander perspective, where most of what I ingested, even though I knew there was bad and there was good, I saw bad and good, but took from it what I wanted and needed. And, you know,
talking about a veil. It's a spiritual veil.
Oh, beyond that, bro. No, it was a curtain. Dude, it was like I had not seen light, and now I did. It was oh my God.
Curtain. That's fine. It doesn't matter.
Grandma's curtains. But that's why that's what I was saying when I got to that dude, that's a side joke. When I got to the epiphany with me and golf and all that stuff, you know, again, come with that culmination of like Scarface saying, you know, you can't lie to a golf course. You know, I dropped the ego.
Yeah.
I do, and it was me against me out in the middle of nowhere. I didn't have no one to depend on or be like, hey, I mean, this is how I saw it. They're like, yeah, you got it. That's no. This is what happened, and I have to write this shit down, and I have to acknowledge that.
Yeah,
I did that.
Yeah,
fucking sucks sometimes, man. But again, going like you were saying, when you finally start asking yourself those questions. I always said it to myself, it was more than just asking those questions. It was being impeccable with myself in the response.
Yeah.
You know, remove the bad and the good, see it for what it is, learn the lesson, understand it at its core. This is its existence, and it has to be there for me to have witnessed it.
Yeah.
It's like I have to be as a part of this. So do you literally get to drop the ego and you start to answer some really tough questions? You really do grow. That's why I was like, dude, when you say you're a growth, I was like, yeah, growth coach, dude. There's plenty of life coaches, man. How many growth coaches you got out there? One that I know of. This man right here. I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And like you saying, removing the veil and stuff like that, and removing the ego is pretty much dealing with reality. Right?
Because seeing it for what it is.
Yeah. When you put that veil up, you don't deal with reality.
Oh, you can like grandma's sugar coat and be like, it's okay, baby. No, it's all. It's like, no, you can't.
Yeah, you got an ego. That's not reality, right? I was in a bad relationship once, and well, more than once, but I'm talking about I'm talking about the one specific time. So,
yeah, redacted. We'll feel redacted. So this the only time that you.
So, you know, and I for a while, of course, I'm playing a good role because I don't think I did anything right, but I was treated in a certain way where it wasn't good, and I would always be upset about that.
You were playing yourself the victim.
Yeah, and then I had to realize, I was like, hold on, why did I allow it? I could have stopped it at any time, right? You could stop it at any time. Why are you allowing it? And then that put me on a journey to be like, what's going on with me?
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
So once you figure that out, then you figure everything else out. You know, so again, dealing with reality. The reality wasn't that, yes, she was treating me bad, but why was she doing it? Because I was allowing it.
Right.
She couldn't do it if I don't allow it.
Because that's what you taught her.
Yeah.
You said this is okay.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's why oh man, I remember so when I went to college, again, I was in my 30s. I had, 18, 19-year-olds and stuff, like first times and whatever. And I had this one classmate that basically was like petrified of giving a presentation. And the idea or the epiphany of that, dude, here's the deal. I was like, every time you look at someone, talk to someone, walk out of your house, you are presenting an idea, whether you vocalize it or visually represent it. Simple fact is every time you are no longer by yourself, you are presenting.
Yeah.
It gave me that idea of where it's just like, well, holy shit. It's like, so then all the stuff that I do inside my head, all those like, movie screen shit that I see, like scenes that I play out where it's just like, life could happen like this, like just let my mind wander and stuff. I can be that individual where I just don't give a shit and I can express myself. I can do that. Thank you. I don't have to have that filter, and so having that epiphany with her on that, it's just like, well, not only is it like, hey, you need to understand this, but like, holy shit, I just totally got that and I mad appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's why it's like all of a sudden it's just like, well, dude, I can always talk to me. I can always be honest to me. I can always present a good me to me. Well, shit, I can do the same thing to everybody else.
That's true. And what you were saying about you're presenting when you come out, it is true. And you really have to present yourself as you would like to be seen, right? Some people be like, well, they should really look at me inside. People don't know you when they see you in the street inside.
Well, so yeah, right.
So if they see you in a suit, they assume you have a job. Right?
Dude, I just got fucking, was it Dave Chappelle where he started working at the McDonald's spot or whatever? We're like, hey, look, he's got his paycheck. He's walking with his bag and shit. It's just like all of a sudden, whatever you have on you represents like I have this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But dude, I saw Dave Chappelle gets me, man.
Like they say, you should always act and dress like you want to be, even if you're not there yet.
Right.
Yeah, act as
Right.
if. Yeah. Fake it till you make it.
Yeah. Not necessarily fake it till you make it, but believe
Dress
it.
better than your.
But believe
Yeah.
it. Even though
Project
it hasn't
yourself
happened.
into that resonance or frequency. Yeah, thinking it into existence.
Yeah, you create it. You create it because everything in your world is saying this is happening. This is my life. This is who I am.
Well, so that's the thing is, so I read the book The Secret, which is about the law of attraction.
Yeah.
The second book that followed was called The Answer, which is bro. My friends have it. If you want, I'll get you my copy.
Okay.
So, coming from a psychological background, by the time I actually read The Secret The Secret and The Answer, so even finding out that the answer existed.
Yeah.
The answer tells you what to do with the law of attraction. And it expresses it into a psychological statement. So as you were talking about how we have to present it, put ourselves in it, all that kind of stuff. There's a thing called the RAC, or the Reticulum Activation Center. That's the part of our brain. I'm probably not pointing in the right spot, but there's that part in our brain that processes all the bullshit that comes in, even though that us as a spirit or entity interacting with this suit only gets so much knowledge. So there's so much other shit that's going on outside of us right now that our body's completely aware of.
Yeah.
But it's just like, don't need it. Don't need that. We can program that, because as we feed it with a specific idea again and again and again, that component of our body just goes, oh, yeah, look at this. It's a literal programmable CPU. It's a part of our brain that makes most of our decisions.
Yeah.
Which is when we're like 1 to 7 years old and our brains operate on what's called an alpha wave, is where we're like in ingestion state, where it's just like, Johnny 5 is alive, input. Yeah, feed me. It's just all I want is knowledge.
Yeah.
That's where you're setting most of your habits for your entire life.
Definitely.
So there's a thing that again, in the book, The Answer.
Waking theta state for the first 7 years, wasn't it?
Or I said alpha? No, isn't it alpha
or theta? I can't remember.
Get off the shit! God damn it, JD.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, but no. But that's the thing is the book, The Answer, explains the RAC, the Reticulum Activation Center, where again you program this main component. Like, it's no joke. Like, it is literally the first point that I think all data runs through. And it decides whether or not it lets the other parts of the brain know about it, or just goes, nope, that's unimportant. Yeah, this doesn't mean anything to us. It's like having, a freaking spam protection when you're, internet webbing. Yeah, it decides what's important and it's not. It's just like you didn't even see this. You're good.
Yeah.
So we can program this part of our brain, though, because it is programmable. I mean, that's what a lot of the different papers are saying. We have this part of our brain. It is programmable. Like, there's data that can prove this. This is why we can grow. Old dog can't learn new tricks. The fuck it can.
Yeah.
Old dog can teach new tricks and learn new tricks.
This is true. Repetition.
But yeah, so RAC, or the Reticulum Activation Center, the book, The Answer, explains what that is on a psychological level. So the physical construct of how our mind works and how we can interact with it. But it also spells out the physical pattern in how to do this, to reprogram. And they do it as meditation, visualization, and affirmation, in that order. You clear your mind, you paint the picture, You speak it into existence to support that picture.
You ever heard of the master key system?
I feel like I've heard this title. I don't know what it means, but I feel like I've heard this.
It's kind of the same concept. So yeah, when you said that, it just kind of hit me like, wow. Because anything that's true is repeated over time. It's like, you ever heard of SMART goals? SMART goals, S-M-A-R-T, goals.
Yeah, I mean, but no, sorry. That's my I don't know, man. No, drop knowledge, bro. Sorry.
I mean, SMART goals, it's specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound.
Okay.
So, people throughout time, people always use that. So it's certain things that you're going to hear over and over again because it's just how it is, right? So what you were saying about the visualization and the meditation and all that stuff, you hear that concept over and over again, but a lot of times we don't actually put it to use or use it, right? I've been hearing about meditation for years, and I have not meditated yet. I've tried it. But
bro, we're going to have a nice side convo.
Man.
Bro. Sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, the answer is usually right in front of us. A lot of people want to figure out how to lose weight. Everybody know how to lose weight. They just don't apply it.
I love that analogy because you're correct, man. Dude, caloric intake in comparison to caloric output, it's a literal mathematical representation.
Mm-hmm. Take in less calories than you burn.
Yeah, and not only that, if you just change the type of food, you can eat more of this.
Yeah.
But if it's better food, it's not going to pack on calories like that.
That's why I always say moderation. I don't care what it is, whether it's partying, alcohol, drugs, work, family time, me time. Mm-hmm. Do moderation. The second version of Karate Kid, where Jackie Chan is like, too much of one thing is not a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do moderation.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, if you do, I am not a doctor. But dude, I mean, I'm a firm believer that if you just a little this, little that, like, dude, if you know what, once a month you ate out and had like onion rings or a fucking Big Mac or like what, dude, if once a month that's all you ever do, you're probably gonna be pretty good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Twice a month, yeah, you probably be 3, man. If
all right, now you're pushing it.
No, 3 times a day, twice a week. Like, dude, okay, now we're talking about frequency where it's just like, that's too much.
Supersize me?
No.
So sometimes the answer is just too much for you to do. Like, you have to lead up. Even though you know the answer, it's not easy to do, right? Caloric intake, fasting, stuff like that is not easy to do. So you have to actually create a process and work your way up to it. But a lot of us, we have the answers. We already know what we're not doing. We already know what we should do. We don't do it, right? So that's what growth is about. You know what I'm saying? You have to take those steps, because even to get where the things that we talk about now, it was a process to get there. We didn't come out talking about that. We learned something. Then we realized something, we learned something else, and then next thing you know, we talk about metaphysics, right?
You realize you needed to make a sacrifice.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what it boils down to.
Drop the ego.
Yeah, but
you could have this much cheesecake, or you could have a plate of broccoli.
Mm-hmm. How fresh is the broccoli? I tell you what,
no,
dude.
Let's say it's some banging ass broccoli, but I'm just saying it's broccoli.
I'm honestly probably gonna pick the broccoli over the cheesecake. I'm not big on cheesecake.
But I'm just saying,
we talking banging broccoli, man. I mean, we got some ranch, a little ranch. Just I don't need a lot. Like literally just a touch on the florets, man. Just
I sear it, season it, and then like douse it a little bit so it steams at the end.
Put some cheese on that.
I mean, you can.
I mean, I'm from the hood. We put cheese on everything.
The Mexican trio, a little bit of that.
Mexican trio. Now that sounds racist.
I'm making it sound much better than it actually tastes.
I mean, at this point, we kind of need to.
I guess we're at that point. Yeah,
dude. I mean, that's because when we
what always happens
when I was telling you earlier, was just like when we get to that point where either it's like straight stupidity or it's just like, holy shit,
We're ready to take it to another level. We're like,
dude, yeah, this shit's so dope and deep that if I were to go on to the next, dude, it's like 20 minutes of just the, we don't have the 20 minutes.
Yeah,
we don't,
definitely.
So that's the indicator that it's time to go.
My man, Philly D out here invited me down. I definitely appreciate him. I appreciate both of you guys for having me.
That's why I said like halfway through the show, just like halfway through first day, we're just like we're gonna go out again, right? Yeah. Dude, no, you are more than welcome back anytime. Yeah. Like, dude, I think you and I are we became friends. We're gonna hang out sometime. Like this,
definitely. Energy is definitely there.
Dude, that goes to the conversation of frequency. We gotta go.
Yeah.
Yeah, but fam, this has been I'm Telling You with our man Mr. Corey Speaks over. This guy is God, he's coming back, people. You know this. But yeah, I'm Philly D,
Mr. Gemini,
Corey speaking.
Yeah, and Miss JD's not here, so she's awesome and doing some great stuff. But we're just gonna skip over her. However, we also want you all at home. Be good to yourself. Good to everything else.
Much love.
Have a good night.
Peace.